morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Daily Dose. We're going to continue with Tough as we round out the week and head into tomorrow. Here we go. Torah mate aleha. What's going to be with Torah? So basically, this is a story detailing a disagreement between Rabbi Yishmael, the great Rabbi Yishmael, and the great Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And here's what they say. There's a pasuk that tells us, Lo yamush sefer Torah zemi picha, that the Torah should never leave your mouth, should never depart your mouth. So Rabbi Yishmael says, okay, if you should be learning Torah all the time, what are you going to do for a living? How's that going to work? So then he quotes a pasuk in Shema that we say every day in V'hayim Shema, V'asafta diganecha v'tiroshcha v'yitzarecha. You will gather in your grain, your wine, your oil, your olives for your oil. Essentially saying, Hanheg bahem minag derech eretz. You need to make a living. You need to work. You need to, do the things, and the Torah says you're supposed to, right? Look, I want you to go and work in the field and do what you need to do. All of us have our own different fields of experience, of our professional lives. We have to do these things. And it's not just a b'di'evet, as we say, like a negative, situation, and I have no other choice. No, you have to. That's part of life. You have to. Yes, I want you to learn. Yes, I want you to grow. That's what the Daily Dose is for. That's what other learning opportunities are for. All of those things, super important. But you need to go out and you need to make a living. It's written in the Torah. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, and that is the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai who went and learned with his son in a cave for over a decade. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, and super mystical, super spiritual, he says, what do you mean? If you go out and you harvest, if you plow when it's time to plow, and you sow when it's time to sow, you plow when it's time to plow, you're harvesting in the harvest season. Now you're going ahead and you're selling, the produce at market. Torah matehei aleha. What's going to happen to the Torah? You're never going to learn. You're never going to have an opportunity for spiritual pursuits. So he says that really, you shouldn't be doing that. The ideal is you're learning all day, you're learning every day, you're spending every day in davening and learning, and if you're doing the right thing, Hashem will take care of the rest. So the Gemara continues and says, a lot of people try to do like Rabbi Yishmael, the al-Sabiyadan, and it worked. Everything was fine, right? They worked, they learned, they made a living, they were engaged in spirituality and learning and davening when they could. And others did like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and it was a total failure. It didn't work. And the rabbis understood what that meant. And there was a certain rabbi who said, based off of this, I don't want to see you in my base medrash. I don't want to see you in my study hall during these times of year, during the times of the harvest, because you need to go out and make a living. I don't want you to come to me and worry about being impoverished. Sometimes we could say, Torah mate aleha. What's going to happen to the Torah? It's super important to say that. But on the other hand, we need to do the things that we need to do for our own professional lives, for our families, for our communities. And yes, we have to have always in the back of our mind, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, Torah mateh aleh. What's going to be with the Torah? When am I going to have time to study? When am I going to have time to learn? When am I going to have time to concentrate on things that will elevate me both as a person and as a Jew? If we could keep both of those things in mind, it'll be al-tza b'yadenu. Everything will work out the way that it should. Have an amazing day.